Welcome back to another Save It for Parts unboxing video. I guess this is the January incoming junk video. I never intended to do these on a regular basis, but I just keep getting stuff. Some of this is from fans, some of it is stuff I found on eBay, and some of it is just random people want to send me their things when they find out I'm the Save It for Parts guy. I don't really need more stuff, and I always say in every one of these videos that I don't really need other people's stuff because I have plenty of my own just clogging up every part of my house. But if you have something interesting enough, shoot me an email and I'll consider it. Fluff is going to give us a hand unboxing some of this stuff here as well. I have a new RTL SDR wideband LNA. This is something I've been waiting on because I blew one up in another project. A long story that might be in one of my outtakes videos someday. This is an interesting one. A very small thing. All right, this is a transit token for the Minnesota Zoo monorail. And I found a couple of these. We found some down in the cracks of the doors when we got the monorail, but this is the old ride token for the monorail, the one that we moved out to Sandland a few years ago. And yeah, it's always fun to come across these. Got a couple books that someone on my Discord recommended. I've actually read some other stuff from this author, and I had not seen these before, but they came with a good recommendation, so I'm going to try those out. Speaking of books, somehow I got signed up to Crane's magazine. I have no idea how I got on this mailing list, but this is really actually an interesting magazine, and it's basically crane porn. Can I say that on the video? I don't know if I can say that. Yeah, this is one of those magazines that I will never be able to afford anything in it, but it's still fascinating. I think this is something I ordered on Amazon, but I don't recognize it at all. Yep, don't remember what that is or what it goes to, but must be important. This is one from a prior video. I tried to send a radio gadget off to the Tuned Signal YouTube, and it came back saying no such address, so I'll have to get in touch with them and try to send this again. I think these are batteries for this Panasonic tablet, because I have a couple of these that did not come with batteries, so now I have some extra ones. And one of my least favorite things to deal with, a carburetor rebuild kit. I could make an entire YouTube channel about how much I hate carburetors, but I guess we're going to try to rebuild one here. All right, now the real prize of the day. If this is what I think it is, this cost me $100 to ship. It only cost me $100 to buy it on eBay and then $100 shipping, and that's because it weighs a ton. And it's fragile, so it is like the worst possible combination of something to ship. I'm definitely saving this rope for parts. Yeah, somebody 100% made this box out of other boxes, which is fine. I just don't know how to get into it. Oh wow, and there's a wooden box inside of it. I think somebody also custom made this. You do not see wooden shipping boxes anymore. This is something straight out of a 1920s movie. I'm fully expecting there to be some kind of ancient cursed artifact from an archaeological dig in this thing. That is still very heavy. This is a heavy-duty pan tilt mount, I think either for very large security cameras or actually for microwave antennas, and I intend to use it for a satellite dish. This is a pretty cool unit. Normally, something like this goes for upwards of $700, $900, $1,200. This one I found, actually someone else found it for me on eBay. It was, I think they wanted a couple $100 for it. I threw a $100 bid on it and forgot about it, and they accepted. So $100 for this plus $100 shipping was actually a really good deal, and I'm hoping that this works really well for satellite dish aiming. It's supposed to hold 90 pounds, have a really high torque rating, and be able to rotate and elevate a large antenna-like object. All right, we've got another package, and man, I need a haircut. I shouldn't have said anything. I should have just had a mysterious jump cut with a no context cleaned up look here, but anyway, let's see what we got today. Fluff is definitely going to help with this one. I think Fluff is just hoping there's more paper where this came from. Well, this one's from Joe in Ohio, and I do appreciate the paper wrapping, Joe, although I usually just reuse Amazon boxes. I just slap my own label on the top. All right, so this was 100% Joe's junk drawer. Thanks, Joe. This is some cool stuff. I can already see some Baofeng radios. I always can use more of those. And I know every time I show a Baofeng, all of the real ham radio operators cringe and say they hate them, but you know what? These are the cheapest way to get into radio as a hobby, and I love the things. These 771 antennas are pretty nice for the Baofengs. They work a little bit better than the stock ones, so again, thanks, Joe. Not sure what that is. Mystery material, mystery gadgets. Again, not quite sure what some of this stuff is, but it'll go into my electronics parts box. Looks like a radar detector, coax cable stuff, a little Roku device. So yeah, lots of interesting stuff here. Thank you, Joe. I will play with some of this. I will definitely hoard some of this, and some of it will probably go straight into my junk drawer, maybe never to be seen again. So yeah, I guess it's just the circle of stuff. As usual, the cats are much more interested in the box and the packing material than anything that was in it. This is a cool thing that I just picked up from Axeman Surplus. I won't show you what it is just yet, but we will be doing a full video on that because that is something really cool. Picked up a couple other things from Axeman lately. I've got the ammo case here. These are super useful. Some random stuff. I do not know what this is. All right, so for $10, I have purchased a thing. I originally thought this might be a Geiger counter with a Geiger tube, but it looks like it's some kind of optical arrangement. If anybody knows what this is, let me know in the comments. This was also in with the Arduino stuff. It looks like a stepper motor driver, so that should hopefully be useful for some motor control experiments, maybe satellite dish rotators, that sort of thing. Mystery box. It's got power in and a couple switches. It's got a dial on top. And we can measure the amount of gee whiz from negative 0.4 gee whiz to positive 0.4 gee whiz. Again, I have no idea what this is. If anybody knows in the comments, tell me what I purchased for $5.95. We have an interesting package that just showed up from American Science and Surplus over in Milwaukee. Now, I did a video on them recently, and apparently they liked it so much that they sent me something. Let's see what's in here. Cool store. They're kind of along the lines of Axeman Surplus here in the Twin Cities. I'm trying to talk and open here, and I know the comments are going to be, oh, he's cutting towards himself, he's going to cut off a finger. An American Science and Surplus catalog. I actually did not pick one of these up when I was there, and a bunch of people in the comments mentioned that they love the catalog, that they subscribe to it and order stuff from it, and apparently, yeah, you can get most of their stock through mail order. We have a magnet, some stickers. I love stickers. I'm going to put these on all kinds of stuff. A little light-up toy helicopter. Yes, there's a lot of cat hair on the desk. I did not clean anything up before starting this video, and in fact, I need a haircut too. Yeah, that's cool. This is going right into my normal t-shirt rotation. I'll just set it here in the cat hair for now. Yeah, American Science and Surplus mug. Really cool. So thank you guys, these are really cool. That was not a sponsored video when I did the little tour of the store, but I appreciate it. So another thing I wanted to mention while I've got the camera set up is this new addition to my display cases. This is a piece of artwork from Adam Guderian. He's a local Twin Cities artist, and he watches my channel apparently, and offered me this really cool basically explosion in a jar. So Adam makes these out of smashed bottles and then basically carefully reassembles the bottles into kind of a dynamic explosion display inside of this water gel stuff. So the interior here, it's not resin, it's actually more of a gel substance, and I guess that lets him kind of position things with tweezers as he works. So anyway, yeah, he offered me one of these. I thought, yeah, that looks really cool. So I've got it on my display cases now, and I'm really trying to keep the cats off of there. I think this is a little too big for cats to knock off, but I am a little worried about it being up on top, so I might end up putting it somewhere else. I just haven't quite decided yet. Now, I don't think Adam currently sells these, but if you'd like to see how he does this and see more of his work, I'll put a link to his YouTube channel down below as well. So next up on the unboxing, we're out here in the garage looking at this thing from Axeman Surplus. Now, I think this is a satellite dish, but I haven't actually opened it up. And my whole garage is a mess, as usual, but it's a mess of satellite dishes right now. I remember when I used to build boats and train cars and other projects in the garage here, but these days it's, oops, all satellites. Anyway, let's see what's in this. I'm not sure, Axeman wasn't sure, they just said it was some kind of a satellite dish. This is better than I thought. I was picturing there would be some kind of DirecTV dish in here, but this looks like it might be a prime focus parabolic dish instead of one of those boring old DirecTV rooftop units. Yeah, I'm gonna get some use out of this guy. This is amazing. Thank you, Axeman Surplus. I'll be assembling and hopefully using this in a future video, but I'm always kind of overbooked on my video schedule, so it might take a little while, but you will see it here for sure. I got this box here of some old radios from University of Minnesota Surplus recently. Now, I've talked about them before. I am trying to do a video, but they are being kind of a pain to work with. It's the university, they're a big, cumbersome bureaucracy, so you have to go through the PR department, you have to sign a bunch of stuff, you have to get insurance, you have to get all these permission forms, they want you to pay a fee. yeah, I've already paid them a fortune just when I was going to school there, but they want more money, of course, because it's the U of M and they need to pay for new football stadiums or something. So we may or may not be able to do a video in there, but I'll keep showing off weird junk that I get from the reuse warehouse. Now, this is the kind of package I like to get. Slightly beat up, covered in tape, definitely put together out of multiple boxes. This is the way I send stuff, and all the most interesting stuff comes in boxes like this. Well, this definitely looks like military surplus. Okay, so this is something really cool that is definitely going to show up in a future video. I do remember who this came from now, and this is on loan. I cannot keep this, so we'll definitely have a future video on this. All right, I just got back from Axeman Surplus on University Avenue in St. Paul. I don't even remember what I bought there, so this is going to be as new to me as it is to you. All kinds of good stuff. We have a mystery black box. I don't know, we'll have to open it up and check it out. That'll have to be another video. We have this great little storage bag with CB10 codes. I have a floppy drive cable, which I need for another Axeman computer project. Some bits of wire, likewise I need these for another video project. Some slip rings or commutator rings. These are basically rotating inner and outer pieces where you can have wires go into both ends and the whole thing can rotate 360 degrees. So super useful for things like wind turbines, antenna rotors, satellite dishes. They have a whole bunch of these that are apparently 3M surplus. So yeah, these are great, and they're only $7 each, so I might have to go back and buy more before they sell out. We've got another floppy drive cable. I wasn't quite sure which one would work best, so I grabbed a couple. Yeah, this one was 75 cents, so that's cheaper than Amazon by far. They're like $6 on Amazon, and then you have to wait a week for it to show up. A little antenna adapter. I might use this for something. I don't know what I'm going to do with half of this stuff. I just threw it in my basket because it looked useful. These are kind of fun. These are little cast iron decorative doorbells. So we've got a seahorse, a little star, and another little design. These are just cool. Again, I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but they're cool. Some microchip dies or something. I don't even know what this is, but it was 50 cents. I couldn't pass it up. Trigger switch, always useful for projects. This little guy is, I think, some kind of transmitter. It says 98.5 on the side, which should be an FM station. And I think there's a microphone in one end, so maybe it's a little wireless mic where you can broadcast locally to an FM radio. It needs a couple little button batteries, which Axeman also sells button batteries, so I picked some of those up. Maybe this is some kind of spy bug or something. It's pretty big for a spy device, but it could have been some kind of a Radio Shack kit from the 70s or 80s. Yeah, kind of a fun little gadget. We'll play with that at some point. Anyway, that's all I've got from Axeman Surplus at the moment. If you have not heard of Axeman, if you have not been to Axeman, drop whatever you're doing right now. Get in a car, get on a bike, get on the light rail, get on a plane if you live somewhere else, and go to Axeman Surplus. They are fantastic. Another quick unboxing update. I'm doing this one on the floor because my usual work table is covered in broken computer parts. Let's see what we've got today. This one's actually a review. This is a solar charger that I'm working on. This one I'm excited about because I think this is going to help me fix that aforementioned pile of broken computer parts. That's kind of a cool little advertisement in there. This is a GoTech floppy adapter, and this one should have the flash floppy firmware installed. Basically, this emulates a floppy drive for vintage computers. So you put a USB flash drive in there, and now you don't have to deal with worn out spinning disk drives. You can just load any disk image onto your old Compaq or Osborne or Tandy or whatever vintage computer you have that uses kind of a standard floppy drive adapter. This one, I can't actually show you what's in here because I signed a non-disclosure agreement for this, so that may or may not be a future video depending on how this goes. These are actually stickers. I'm not selling these, but if you meet me in person and I happen to have some, I give these away sometimes, or I stick them on my projects so that you know all of my projects are totally safe. I actually got more of these than I thought. I made a bunch of these for open source and gave them away really fast. Everybody loved the OSHA stickers. I had some other Save It for Parts logo stickers. I still have a bunch of those because they weren't quite as popular. And then finally, we've got a big box here. I'm trying not to show the person's return address. I think I know what this is too. I was talking to this person on Discord. So there are a couple audio tapes in here. Does anybody remember audio tapes? Turns out you can do something more interesting than just audio with these. You can also record video onto an audio cassette. I had never heard of this product before, but apparently this is a kid's toy video camera from the 80s that records actual video, black and white video, but still actual video onto a cassette tape. Apparently these have a cult following, and there are some very obscure independent films that have been filmed entirely on one of these cameras. But yeah, I'm gonna have to try this out. It's in the box, definitely not new, but it looks like it's in pretty good shape. So big thank you to Christine for sending me this really cool, obscure tech, and we will definitely be doing a full video on it in the future. I was about to wrap up this video and start editing it, but this thing showed up in the back of my car. This is a power shunt. So this is a little 12 volt, 48 volt battery device, power shunt battery monitoring thing. Somebody on my Discord actually offered this to me, and I said I don't know exactly what I'll use it for or when I will use it, but yeah, I'll give it a try if you want to send it to me anyway. So you can check out their info here if you are interested in a product like this. And then they threw in a couple other products that they make. All right, well that turned into quite the mailbag incoming junk video. I started that back in January. I think I even said near the beginning that this is the January mailbag. It's now the end of March, almost April. It'll probably be April by the time this video is actually out. So that was 3 months worth of incoming junk. As usual, my house is piled full of junk that I don't have time to get to. So hopefully a lot of that stuff will show up in future videos. Hopefully it doesn't just all get buried under new incoming junk from Axeman and University Surplus and wherever else. I can't remember if I mentioned these in the last unboxing video. I got a bunch of these Toughbook tablets from actually 2 different viewers. So thank you to Doug and Aaron. If I didn't mention you guys before, this is actually another video that I'm working on now because I always have to have about 6 projects going at once and I get easily distracted. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking now because this video has gone on far too long. We're going to wrap this up. Thank you to everyone out there for watching this kind of filler-ish video, and we'll see you next time.